Oh, Survivor Specialist Phil and Will are back. I got no warning from Will on that. It's been a while. Nice
We said
line.
let's go.
But we're back. I got no warning. I got absolutely no warning. But now here I am, looking like an idiot for the first time in a month. It feels good. Yeah, we have not been here this offseason, and now we're here, and we're probably going to focus mainly here on the season 34 tribes. We never talked about them. The tribes did come out. We haven't even podcast since the tribe or since the theme was announced, which is one of the worst themes in Survivor history.
No, the theme was announced on the finale. You're dropping the ball quickly here, Phil. And it seems like my internet is doing this. The finale of Co-Ron, they announced Gen X versus Millennials.
We're talking about season 34, Will.
Okay. My internet's so bad I did not even hear you.
Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, and if you guys missed our bad internet, it's still awful. Hopefully mainly on Will's part, not mine, so you can all blame him. But no, we did not get the name of the theme. We have the name of the theme. It's awful. It's absolutely terrible.
Game Changers.
Yeah.
That's right.
Game Changers. How's everybody feel about that? I know there's just – like, when I heard that, I didn't even know the tribes were announced for a little while there. Game Changers is the name of it. I just started looking through the cast. My God, like, how are they going to get away with this? Like, I want to see Jeff try to skew this one. You know, you can throw, like, somebody like Ty on the beauty tribe and make it make sense, even though he's not good looking. But how in the hell is this going to work where, like, somebody like Sierra is a game changer? Because last time I checked, she did nothing in her season, didn't change a vote in her season. So I don't understand how she's a game changer. Man, that is quite the stretch. What do you think it was like in that production meeting?
See, I don't have – if this season had come kind of out of nowhere as a returnee season, I would have absolutely no problem with it. But because we had Second Chance season 31, it's like they threw the fans a huge responsibility of voting the castaways in and getting to have some influence on the season. And it's like 2 seasons later, 3 seasons later, you're just going to say, you know what, actually, we're going to decide everything. You have no say in it. We're going to pick the worst cast ever, and we're going to choose a theme that makes no sense. It's like this all happened right after things were looking so good, and that's my big problem with it. If we hadn't had a returnee season, an all returnee season since Heroes vs. Villains, and this came out, like, here are the game changers, and I was like, all right, this cast is lame, but okay, that's fine. But, man, to extend your hand to the fans, and the fans provided. It's not like we did a bad job of voting people in. Everyone said it's probably a top 10, some people say top 5 season. So to go right back to the old ways of deciding everything themselves, I think that's where I take issue, and the name just adds to that.
And we've been on, like, sort of a hot streak here. I mean, Co-Wrong was a lot of fun. Second Chance. Like, it's going to be a shame if now this season, like, if Millennials versus Gen X sucks, because that's a terrible theme. And then if Game Changers follows it up with a lackluster cast, like, they could go from, like, saving the show after Worlds Apart to, like, hey, screw you guys. We don't want it to be good.
Well,
where are you, Will?
I'm here. I've heard very good things about Millennials versus Gen X, and just saying the name out loud, just the theme, I think, is going to lower everyone's expectations to a point where there's no way they can, not exceed expectations. I don't think anyone's going to this season that hyped. I haven't heard much about it other than Jeff Probst saying we really enjoyed it. I think some other people from production have said they really enjoyed it. They did say that about World Apart, which I have in, like, my bottom 5, bottom 10 seasons. So we can't take everything they say as truth. But, just because a theme is terrible doesn't mean the season is going to be terrible. And there's also I think twist is confirmed that it will split to 3 tribes. They're going to do 2 tribes of 10 to start. It will go down to 3 tribes like they did in Second Chances. Likely at 18, but it could be 15 if they really want to, work the theme a little longer. But then it will be done. So we know these themes don't last so long. So I'm looking forward to Millennials versus Gen X, and then that will be a hot streak of 3 good seasons, and then Game Changers can screw it all up.
Yeah, which game changers is like what we really have to talk about here. I mean, this tribe division, because you know, I mean, this is really how they're doing it. I know we don't know the season 33 female, the season 33 male. We won't talk about them. But like anybody who has seen these tribe divisions, am I the only person out there who just wants the mana tribe to win every single time and the Nuku tribe to lose until it's just like Suri left? And like even if Suri goes, I have seen her play 3 times, so like whatever. But like then everybody that I was like, why are they on this season? And like it's actually incredible that like every single one of them ended up on the same tribe, because like I seriously hope those are the first like 9 people voted out of the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the red tribe there, the Mana tribe, is much more likable. I am very shocked that they put Sandra and Tony on the same tribe. Maybe it's so they can work together as winners, but I can see immediately those 7 people saying, look, we have Sandra and Tony, 2 of the most dangerous people to ever play this game, on our tribe. Let's just go 7-2. I guess there'll be that one other player who could be a winner, but still they'd be outnumbered.
I think, and I don't know if like if I'm getting this vibe here. It seems like they took the dangerous females, except for Suri, who I think should have been on that tribe. I'm sure the season 33 female might be a good player, so I don't know. But they have Aubrey, Sierra, and Sandra all in the same tribe. And something's telling me that like to start off with that, they're almost like saying like, well, we're not going to lose all 3 of them pre-merge, because those 3, you put 2 on one tribe and 1 on the other, they could easily be the first 2 people voted off the one tribe and then the first one voted off the other. But like I feel like they're almost trying to like hide them on this tribe, and I almost feel like if they're gonna lose, if they're then that means they won't lose Varner, who I think they really want to at least make the jury for once, since he's never even made the jury, or like somebody like Tony or Malcolm. Like this is so much more likable of a tribe than the other one. I almost feel like that they were trying to hide some of the people so that if both tribes are actually even, you don't lose all of your likable people right off the bat. And I'm not going to have anybody likable. It does have Ty and it does have Suri, and JT is likable, but like Ozzy, this other tribe is just like, here's all the threats, let's hide them.
Yeah, I think you especially make a good point with the women. You have Debbie, who is a nut. You have Sarah, who got just completely played and blindsided by Tony. I'm surprised they didn't start those 2 out on the same tribe. And then Sierra, who did nothing. And then Andrea, who has been, blindsided twice in her 2 times. And then you have Suri. Mm-hmm. Definitely, that could be a possibility. They didn't want Aubrey to go out first. And we talked about this immediately. Like, wow, Aubrey's going back quickly. Everyone just saw her season. She's going to be a big threat. But now she's on a tribe with Tony. She's on a tribe with Sandra. She's on a tribe with Sierra, Malcolm, players that have had a lot of success. So maybe that's why, Malcolm. So maybe she can kind of, either team up with them or just sneak by until there is some sort of swap. That could be very possible. I really don't know how they come to these tribe divisions. I assume it has to do with a lot of personality studies. They do interviews, how they're going to play the game. They want to create as much drama as possible. I know we took a stab at forming the season 31 tribes before those were announced, and I think we got it completely wrong.
Yeah, I think we failed completely.
So I don't really know their ways, but again, this cast is not our ideal cast.
Yeah, and I'm just laughing because it's like you have Andrea, Debbie, Sarah, Sierra, Brad Culpepper all in one tribe, and it's like I could care if those are the first 5 people voted out of the game, and like then Ty and like Ozzy and JT. Like I don't care. I can't believe how little I care about like an entire tribe going into a all-stars, game changer, all returning season. Like there's an entire tribe I could care less got oolong right out of the game. Like I could care less.
I hear what you're saying, but it's not like the other tribe is all. I mean, I guess you could say that all the likable players are on this Mana tribe, but we have Caleb, who don't know very well, Troyzan, who I'm not a big fan of, Varner, who we like just saw, and he's going to eat up a lot of screen time. I don't know who the 33 males. We have Sandra, who I'm like not that stoked to see it play again because I know her legacy is almost surely going to be tarnished in some way. Aubrey, who we just saw. So as much as you don't like this Nuku tribe, I'm not even that excited about the Mana tribe. And this goes right
the
back
cast is
to
just
our
dumb.
cast.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun when they make the official announcement, like when EW comes out with it and they do all like the press releases and stuff, and like we do our cast assessment. We're just like, yeah, no change. This is still terrible. Like
We might not even
it's
have to do
like it's so unexciting. Yeah, I mean, it's here, and like I wonder what like my parents, who are huge Survivor fans, will think of them. Super fans like we are, but they've seen every season. And I wonder what they're going to think when they're like, why is this the cast? My dad's going to sit there with drool coming out of his mouth when they say Sierra's on the show, and he's going to be like, I have no idea who that is. He's going to have no idea who that is at all.
See, but I think that always happens on All-Star seasons anyway. You look at like Danielle for Heroes vs. Villains. I don't know if your dad was jumping at the screen to see her play again. And then when you are looking at this from a casual fan's perspective, you have Tony. Oh, I remember him. He's recent. He just won. You have Caleb, who just got medevac, like Aubrey, who just played, Varner, who just played. You have Sierra, who just played. That's the first Sierra. That's Sierra with a C. And then people remember Ozzy for everything. People remember JT. He won. Ties. So there's a lot of name recognition and a lot of memorable faces that are fresh in people's minds. So I think the casual fan will probably say, oh, my gosh, during the NFL games, these advertisements will probably draw some viewers in with these familiar faces.
Do you think though, and this is like another point I was trying to make, like obviously, yeah, with Danielle, even Candace, like my dad had no clue who they were. But coming into this at a point now where even casual fans are gonna be like, oh my God, didn't we just see them? Because this has never happened before where you like, it happened with Rob and it happened with Russell. But like, this is with so many people. Varner, Caleb, Aubrey, Sierra, who else? Debbie, Ty. Like, don't you feel like a lot of people are going to be like, wait, we just saw them? Like, I feel like that's going to happen even with casuals, where they're going to be like, wait, this is like too much now. Because it's not like you've only seen these people, all those people only play once. You've seen some of them play two times already.
Yeah, and you have Ozzy coming back for a fourth time and Sari for a fourth time. But I don't know. I think when you have people like Tony mixed in and Malcolm mixed in, Ozzy, JT, Sari, people that are just so familiar, they'll see those names be drawn and then they'll be like, oh, so Ty's playing again, and I like Ty. And I don't know. I don't think the majority of the audience looks at it like the way we do, where we're sitting here saying, why is Sari playing for a fourth time? Why is Ozzy playing for a fourth time? Why is Aubrey playing right now when she just came off a very strong season? Shouldn't she, sit back a little bit and not come back as a huge threat? Maybe let some other threats emerge and come back, and maybe Heroes vs. Villains 2, All-Stars 2, something other than this immediate game changer season. That's the way I think most of us are looking at it. But I highly think that almost no one who watches so casually is thinking those things.
That's true. I mean, we'll see. We'll see when it actually comes out. I mean, I'm still going to be interested to hear like some reactions from some people that I know who just watch the show just to watch the show and don't even, there's plenty of people I know that watch the show and don't watch our podcast, which makes them bad friends or bad family members. But I'm just curious to hear what they have to say.
I see you always say this, and I'm still shocked. I know so few people that actually watch the show, and I try getting people hooked, and then I have some like friends, old roommates who I've gotten hooked just because I would watch it every Wednesday, and they watch, but I don't stay in touch really and talk about Survivor with them. I mean, I applaud you for having so many Survivor friends, because my immediate friend circle, I have like no one who knows what Survivor really is, even that it's on the air. It's like everyone hears Survivor 33 is coming out, and they go, no way, like you're kidding me. And it's like you have to explain every time. It's like, the show is awesome. It's been on forever, and there's a reason why it's in its 33rd season. People continue to be shocked by it. That's how it goes, I guess.
It's really crazy. I don't know if I'm just a very persuasive, very likable person. I like to think that those are both true. But like everybody that I got like involved in it, like in college and stuff, they all still watch it and they'll like text me about it. And I'm like, dude, I haven't talked to you in like 3 months and you're texting me about like Survivor now. Like I forgot you were a person and now you're texting me about Survivor. And like, I don't know. Everybody keeps watching it. People that I never expected to keep watching it.
I hear that.
I could give like a 45-minute shout out.
45-minute shout. See, I have like maybe 3 or 4 people that I would maybe hear from, like, oh, did you see that episode? It's like, yeah, of course I saw that episode. Like, I'm gonna have to, talk about it for an hour and a half with Phil later. Do we have any Twitter?
You say that like it's a bad thing.
No, it's a great thing. It is a great thing.
We have a lot of Twitter activity.
If we have Twitter stuff or old,
we've had so much Twitter hate.
A lot of Twitter hate. We can do mean tweets.
I mean, we have so much Twitter stuff just being like, where the hell were you?
I guess we could address this. Usually when people have a hiatus, they come back with something that they've been working on, something to share, maybe some big news. We have none of those things. We just have been not podcasting. It's the off season. So don't have any really big news other than it's August. It is August, what is it, August 3rd today? So that means next month Survivor will premiere. So that's our big news from our end. But yeah,
we're two people who this is our off season working like full time, and we're both kind of it's very tough for us to get on the same page and be like, yo, let's do it tonight. And then like finally it was like to do this, and I was like, I'm gonna tweet it so that we can't back out, because it's just like, it's not that we don't want to. It's just like we wanted a top tribal councils thing, but like we haven't had the time to like sit down and like actually draw out like our top tribal councils. And if we did something, we'd like not believe in it at all. We just like we're busy men sometimes.
Yeah, I think
I'm trying to defend this well.
Yeah, no, of course. And before, when we would do our like season rankings or winner rankings or twist rankings or anything, we would spend a considerable amount of time like arguing over them or deciding what constitutes what. Like, should we include Sandra twice? Should we include her once? Like all these things, and we spend time putting our lists and rankings together. And it's much easier to react to tribes than it is to come up with those lists in the middle of the work week. So both of us are busy, but I guess we could just say thank you for watching this and
patiently
sticking through the off season. Hopefully no other Survivor podcasters have swept you off your feet and stolen you away, although I'm sure Rob has been putting out constant content because that is his full-time job. So
he's got Big Brother.
Oh, and he's got Big Brother too. Maybe that's something we should do. I don't know. We say it all the time. So back to these tribes. So we know which tribe we like better. We like the Mono tribe better, but which tribe is stronger? Which tribe is going to win the first mini challenge and maybe oolong somebody if there was a chance for an oolong?
The Blue tribe. They're gonna win, and it's gonna piss me off. They got JT. They got Ozzy. They're both beasts. They have Sarah, who's pretty talented. Sierra's good. Debbie proved she was good with puzzles. Ty was good at stuff. Brad's good at stuff. Andrea's kind of useful. Cerie's great at puzzles. And Mana's got biggest players ever. We just saw it on Second Chance in Varner and Sierra. I mean, Varner was pretty much useless in challenges. Everyone
but Varner, though, on that tribe, you look at the males. You have Caleb, who I know he got medevac.
The males are very good.
But you have, Caleb, Malcolm, Tony, Troyzan. That is that's strength right there. And usually you have one dud.
But the other one's got JT, Brad, Ozzy, and it doesn't matter. JT and Ozzy. I would take JT and Ozzy. I don't know. I would take JT. Sandra's awful at challenges. We've known that. Sierra's bad at challenges. I'm getting like a Courtney Sandra vibe from Sierra and Sandra. Does that you know what I mean? Like where they're just going to be like, hey, let's hang out.
I totally could see that happening. Okay, I agree with you, especially because when you look at the women, because you have Sierra Dawson or whatever, Thomas, I don't even know her last name, and then you have Sarah and Andrea. They were all pretty solid. How about this?
Debbie and Cerie can do puzzles.
Sure. Which player are you hoping to rewrite history and change your mind and perception of them? Like someone who's coming to the season that you just aren't a fan of, you weren't happy to see them back. And I'm sure that is most of this cast. You weren't happy to see them back. But who are you hoping really to change your mind on them?
Okay, it's not. All right, I'm gonna answer this two different ways. Number one, somebody that I want to be very good on this season is Troy Zan. I want Troy Zan to play.
That's what I was
actually
gonna say.
It's not popular. Oh, it is popular. Okay, cool. So I'm glad you're gonna say I'm not disappointed, and this is where we differ. I know you're not happy Troy Zan's on this season. I'm happy Troy Zan's on this season. I like Troy Zan. I voted for him for second chance. Admit that.
Compared to the rest of the cast, I think I'm more happy to see him play than most of the other people on this cast. But if you had given me like Jim Rice or Shane or some of the people that were in that second chance ballot, I would pick them over Troy Zan, and I did pick them over Troy Zan. But when you are comparing him to Brad Culpepper, you're comparing to Ozzy for a fourth time, comparing him to, JT, who I like, but we've seen him, it's his third time. Troy Zan starts to move up a little bit as an interesting character that we don't know that well, who had some fun moments. One of the top 10 moments ever in Survivor history when he said, "This is my island," according to Survivor 30th anniversary 90. So maybe he can, have another historic moment.
Go watch that podcast. We have like 200 views on it. Yeah. See, I'm happy Troy Zan's on here. But I hope that he proves to all the Troy Zan haters that he actually is decent at the game, because he was on the worst season ever. He figured out Kim was running the game, but he went and told Jay he's the dumbest person to ever walk the face of the earth. Sorry, Jay, but come on. That was one of the most idiotic things ever in Survivor history. Who I didn't want to be on this season that I actually hope does well. The only one that I can go to is Andrea. Because
there we go.
I am one of the biggest Andrea haters out there. I am one of the biggest haters out there. I don't know why. I just get so tired of move, and then she never does. And then her second time playing, and she never was. Andrea, come out this time and actually figure it out. Because if you figure it out and you win, I look like the biggest idiot in the world, and I'm okay with that because that means that you did something right. I was pissed when she came back the second time. I didn't like her in Redemption Island. Redemption Island's my least favorite season. Thought she sucked because that whole season sucked. Not just on her, just that whole season as a whole. Everybody sucked. She comes back for Caramel. It was awful. And she thought she was in control, and she wasn't. And she was a puppet or a pawn the entire time. She goes home again. So what place this time? I think Andrea's going to get anywhere from 5th to 8th place, just like the other two times. But because I don't think there's much that changes for her. But I hope she proves me wrong because I'd like to see the Andrea that everybody seems to like so much.
I mean, I don't love her, but I don't know where you get the H word, where you get hate from and you become a hater. And I know you don't hate her personally, but you're not a fan of her gameplay. So I'm not saying I'm her biggest fan, but I've always enjoyed, especially in her seasons too, Redemption Island. I think Andrea was one of the more interesting players. I think she was 22 when that season aired, or 23, very young and very naive, but making it very far to that game and showing a lot of, strengths near the end. And that's why they had to vote her out at whatever that was, 5 or 6. So yeah, I was not happy to see her play, but she was one of the people I was very okay with playing. This pick, I guess the question how I phrased it might have been weird. It's who do you want to see do well that you didn't want to see? I guess you could read it as who do you hate the most on this tribe? So I guess Ozzy, I would love to see I would love to see Ozzy come back and not be cocky Ozzy. He came on the show as a kid pretty much in Cook Islands, then came back in Micronesia and in South Pacific, and was definitely a different person, someone who was a bit arrogant, a bit cocky. And that's fine at times, but in a game of Survivor where you are, you need to make personal connections and you can't really ostracize people with arrogance. It'd be great to see if Ozzy's matured. And if he's watched those past seasons, look, I'm acting like an asshat out here. Yeah, I'm good at challenges. Yeah, I've played this game 3 times before. How about he comes in and actually takes a backseat role and kind of lets things happen and maneuvers and navigates and plays with some strategy, doesn't rely on challenge strength or anything like that, I would be stoked to see that version of Ozzy. And instead of seeing a player play for the fourth time, we see him play for the first time in a new version of himself. How about that?
Hey, man, all I know is the last time we saw Ozzy on Survivor, he was high as can be at the reunion for South Pacific, and he was rambling about nonsense. So I hope he redeems himself from that, because that was like one of the more uncomfortable moments in Survivor. So hopefully he redeems himself from that. I mean, I'll say this. Ozzy are two of the most popular players in Survivor history, and I'm lukewarm on both of them. I was a huge Ozzy fan in Cook Islands. Come Micronesia, I thought what happened to him was great. And in South Pacific, like, the only reason I was rooting for him to win was because coach and this stupid religion thing pissed me. So, like, I don't know. Like, Ozzy, he is what he is. I guess, if there's one person that you don't want to see, that you want to do well, I wouldn't. If Ozzy wins, like, good for him. He probably deserves to win because he should have won, or shouldn't. Maybe not should have won, but he's one of the better non-winners in the show's history. So, you know what? If he wins, he wins. But I don't know. I'm definitely going to – I'll pull for Andrea over Ozzy just because Andrea's only coming up on her third time.
Yeah, right.
Which blows my mind.
It's hard to root for someone who has played – who's playing their fourth time as much as you want to see them win. Like Sari –
It is.
People have said she's the best to never win. That's it's going to be – it's like that's a good title to have. I'm almost might be a better title than to win on your fourth time and be considered one of the most boring, undeserving winners, as we kind of consider Boston Rob.
What happened with Rob Mariano with Boston Rob? Yeah, Boston's fourth time, and like it was almost like when he's sitting up there at the reunion, like they announced that he won, and he was almost like embarrassed that he won because like he was like 3-year-olds. He's running around the island with a bunch of idiots, and like this is why I just like hate on Andrea, because Andrea had so many chances to change that game and just didn't. She just didn't. That's why I get annoyed with Andrea.
You gotta give Rob
enough
some
about
credit
my
there.
Andrea hate. I hope she changes my mind this season.
Good. I'm glad.
Boston Rob.
So are we both agreeing that for Ozzy and Sari's legacy, it's probably better for them to not win the game? As absurd as that sounds.
Yes. Although it would be better if they're going to win, it's better if they win on their fourth time with other people who have played as opposed to winning on their fourth time when they're playing with a bunch of first-timers and Russell Hantz, who it was his third time and everybody was done with it.
That's a very good point. It seems that no matter how we frame this, Boston Rob's win will always you could just pick it apart for being one of the worst wins. Probably. I mean, it was skillful in many ways, but there are so many things to look at and just knock them down the ranks. And you continue to do so, and it's hard to disagree. Who is your, and we don't have to lock this in or anything, but who would be your, as right now, who is your pick to take this puppy home?
Oh, geez. Oh, man, I'm coming off my Michelle win, too. Man, now I'm going to, like, want to hold on to this the entire time.
I mean, you don't have to. This
just
is
looking at how
in. This is not locked in. This is just initial. Remember, this is Tribe's reaction. So we're just reacting here.
I mean, to these tribes, if nothing were to switch,
I would say – I've seen Survivor before. There's going to be a switch.
I mean, just based on the opening – the people who I think are the safest, Mana, except Jeff Varner, and Haley, I think she's incredibly safe. And then on Nuku or whatever, I think like all the women except Sari are pretty safe. And the guys the girls might want to keep the guys around, but like Brad Culpepper's going to piss the women off. They're going to be like, Ozzy's going to win everything. Like they know tribe swaps are coming. You know how Sari works. Like she's going to try to get rid of people. But I would say, and like maybe this is just going based on the fact that Michelle won. I'm going to say Haley, just because like there's no way she gets votes at the beginning part of this game, and she probably has some strategy in it. Game Worlds apart because it was such a lackluster season, and she was on a trial want to play, and then the biggest like challenge threat of all time, other than Ozzy. So yeah, I'm going to say probably Haley has like the best shot right out of the gate, just because. It's the same thing as like somebody like Parvati in Micronesia and Amber and All-Stars. Like, people just really, they might not be paying as much attention there, and they should be.
Yeah, I could see Haley. Just to correct you there, Parvati got a lot of attention early on in Micronesia. And I know it's just I'm not trying to undermine you, but that's always a point I use when saying how impressive Parvati's win was, because people were gunning for her since like day one. Just saying. I'm going to go with Caleb. I think Caleb came into Korong as like a former Big Brother contestant. That was his kind of claim to fame, and he stood out as having played a reality TV show before. And now he's coming back to an all-attorney season of Survivor, where everyone's played Survivor. No one's really looking at anyone saying, you've played this game. Maybe they'll look at Cerise, hey, she's played 4 times, or Ozzy 4 times now. But that's not going to be held against him, the Big Brother thing. And then also he was medevac, so we never really saw any flaw in his gameplay. We didn't really see anything that great either, but there's nothing that tells me that he's a bad player, that he'll do something wrong early. So I think he'll at least make it to a merge because he is strong in challenges. And then there's so many other known threats that people are going to try to get rid of. I see Caleb, if he can sneak down to like top 6, top 5 with maybe another, like a shield out there, someone, like Malcolm or Ozzy or JT, who's just a bigger threat, he can get down to 3 or 4, win the final immunity, and then he's sitting there at the end. So I think Caleb has a really good shot.
Yeah, and he's very likable too. And what we're not taking into account at all is season 33 female. None of these people are going to get to see play. Okay, so you know what? They have the best chance to win.
I don't know. Do they? Because that can also be scary, where everyone knows each other, but then these 2 people haven't played. We saw that with Malcolm, and I don't think that hurt him all that much, but he ultimately didn't win. We saw that with Russell, who it looked like it helped him in Heroes vs. Villains. If anyone had seen Russell's first season. So I think it can hurt you. It can help you. It depends on the player. But as of now, rolling with Caleb.
Yeah, no, that works. That's cool. You want to do? I'm going to read some Twitter comments just because.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This is from July 30th. It's Ann Curtis. One final attempt. Where are you? When's your next podcast? How come we haven't heard from you guys in a month? We covered that, but I just wanted to read that out loud so that everybody knew. Tom Azenberg. I thought you disappeared like the Warriors' chances of winning the title last season. Just kidding, but I'm glad you're back. Sorry,
That's part of the reason I had to take a break. I was not about to, come out of the woodwork and face the hate, face the sadness.
Yeah. Ann Curtis, Will, have you watched any of my intros yet? You promised you would. Gamer Girl would like an update, please. Go ahead. Well, tell her.
Wait, when did I say that I would? I don't remember this. I will now that I remember.
In the last podcast.
Oh, man. Intros. I think I have actually. Oh, Survivor intros. I deal with like YouTube stuff all day, so I was thinking like channel intros for YouTube channels. So I thought maybe she made us a intro that we could put before our video. Maybe someone should do that. I don't know. But Survivor intros. I think I actually did watch 1 or 2, but I'll have to watch more. So thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, you will. Ann Curtis, do you guys own any Survivor DVDs? If not, how do you wins? I own some, but you just have to search the depths of the internet and you'll find them.
Amazon has a good amount. Hulu has a good amount. I have passwords to both. I pay for neither. That's kind of the way you got to operate these days with so many accounts.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of working in LA, right? Everybody has accounts. Yep.
Yeah, I got like a triangle deal with like Amazon, Hulu, Netflix. Just each person pays for one, and everyone gets the password. And there you go.
Yeah. Giovanni Oriana, he asks a lot of, do you think people will align? And I'm going to get to all them, but first he starts off with, do you think there are any pregame alliances? And this was my biggest thing with Kara Moen, and I rip on it all the time for having the pregame alliances. Are there any that you think are going to alliances? I mean, obviously somebody like Caleb and Ty might have a pregame alliance, but they do start on opposite tribes. Is there anybody that like you worry like could really like almost ruin the game because they have a pregame alliance?
I guess let's look at this. The actual tribes. We have Aubrey and Caleb from Korong, but that didn't amount to anything. I guess Varner and Sierra, they were both on second chances. There was a lot of stuff going on preseason second chances. And if they ever chatted or talked, I know Varner didn't really make it that far, but I think they are the kind of players who would like each other. But as we saw in second chances also, I think pregame alliances go out the window pretty darn quickly. Are you taking a selfie, Phil?
No, I was flipping off Steve.
Oh, good.
Better, right? Yeah. No, so what I'm thinking is I don't think that this season you have to worry about it too much because the people who are from the same season, Suri and Ozzy, Suri and JT, Debbie and Ty are starting on the same tribe. Sarah and Tony, you don't have to really worry about. Sierra and Varner. Like, I don't think that there's any that connect that are going to be like, oh my God, this is going to ruin the season. Like, I don't see that this season. Like I always go back to Caramon with this. The problem with that is like Cochran and Andrea hung out before that season started. So obviously they're going to team up a little bit. You know what I mean? And I felt like that screwed somebody like Malcolm who was coming in completely blind to it because everybody's from the same 4 or 5 seasons. And then you have Corinne, Eric, and Malcolm. They were screwed from the start. And somehow they all made it pretty far into the game just because that fans tribe was so awful that, like, they were just non-factors. But, like, you had Philip and Francesca and Andrea all from one season. Like, it was just too much. This season, yeah, there's a lot from, like, Korong, but they weren't. Like, Caleb and Ty were the most aligned, but Caleb was the 4th person out of the game. So, like, how much is it still going to have an effect? I doubt they'd vote each other out, but at the same time, like, are they both going to even make it to emerge? Like, is somebody like Ty going to sneak through again? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not as worried this season.
Yeah, and I think everything was decided pretty late on. I know they had like Natalie Anderson, Earl, or some people that were mentioned. They had people in the mix for a while, but I think it came together pretty late, and so they didn't have opportunities to do widespread pregame stuff as maybe they did in second chance. But again, I don't think even if there is a pregame alliance, I don't think any of them can really ruin the entire season. And I know we point to Caramoan a lot saying Cochran had a really good draw. I think that's kind of different than a pregame alliance necessarily. Like having friends all over your season is different than having a set pregame alliances that may or may not work out. Yeah. So that's kind of, I see differences between those.
Okay. Then Giovanni gets into a lot of how do you think these people will play together? Do you think Malcolm will work with Haley since the Dirty 30 is a very close cast? Malcolm wasn't in the Dirty 30.
Yeah, we have Sierra and Haley are our Dirty 30, and I think they're probably friends because they are very tight. That's actually kind of a good point. That might be 2 people to look at. They are on separate tribes to start, so I don't think we'd. And once there's like merges and mix-ups and you've made connections, I don't think someone's going to switch their whole game just to pair up with someone they're tight with from a past season. It really is going to be.
We saw heroes versus villains,
right?
Yeah, I mean that was all that. Amanda and Parvati, Sandra and Rupert, like it. Yeah, it happens by that point. Do you think Sandra will have a rivalry with Troyzan? Is this just because Troyzan's loud and obnoxious and Sandra will just want to call him an idiot?
I'm not sure why that is. That could be.
I can see it, though.
I can see Sandra having a rivalry with a lot of people. It will be interesting to see how she comes out the gate. What is her strategy going to be? Is it going to be different than anybody but me? I don't think there's any reason to change that. Even though you'd think if she's done that twice in one that people would start to catch on. But it seems like that's the best strategy to use.
Yeah, I think that's the best strategy to use because the one time that Sari, when she got voted out 3rd or 4th, as opposed to making it to 4th or 3rd place, being the person, just like waiting on the outside. I think that Sandra's probably going to come out a little obnoxious and try to get people to not like her, so we'll keep her around. I think that might be her strategy, is to not be super likable because people are already going to be saying, let's get rid of her because she won twice. And maybe she's going to come out and be like, look, I'm loud. Look at me. I'm annoying. And I've won twice. Somebody's going to vote for me to win. Get me to the end. And if she gets to the end, she's going to win again because people are going to be like, how the hell did Sandra get here?
Right. I think that's a pretty bold strategy to take as a two-time winner, as someone who's not that strong in challenges. And when you're being obnoxious and annoying, and you have those other two negatives going for you, I think you're just giving people more of a reason to vote you out if you are disturbing camp life, because we see that people are more likely to vote people out for camp life reasons earlier in the season, where it's about a tribe unity and happiness as opposed to strategy. So I don't know if that's Sandra's best move. Yeah.
All right.
We have no YouTube comments right now. Actually, I just checked. This is a first, I think, for us not to have YouTube comments. I think the people are fighting back. They're angry that we.
Is this because it's not working, though? Is this just like YouTube not working again? What was that other website that we were using?
I'm looking at the comments page. You can type a comment. I'll comment one right now. Sorry for being on hiatus for so long. Thanks for tuning in.
Please like us.
In. Boom. Let's see if it works. It works, so you can comment. We just haven't gotten it. It's okay.
Yeah, well, that's our fault. All right, Giovanni again. Do you think Brad and Ozzy will align or won't get along? I don't think anybody's really going to get along with Brad Culpepper, to be honest. He's annoying.
He'll be fun. That's someone that maybe we should have tossed out for who you really don't like that much but can surprise you. If he's someone who can learn from his past mistakes, he might have a good chance at winning. And I think he showed that a little bit. I remember during his boot tribal council, not his boot episode because there was Redemption Island, but when Caleb turned the tables against him completely at the tribal council, he said, do what you have to do. It's okay, man. He went to shake Caleb's hand. He got caught and he realized he got caught and he immediately addressed the mistake that he made. I know he had some fiery words later at Redemption Island, but right when he got voted out, he wasn't mad, he wasn't angry or confused why he went home. He did notice that. So maybe there's a sliver of hope for him to kind of cool it off a little bit. People are going to be who they're going to be. It's hard to change, but if he did pick up anything from his past season, it'd be good to see.
Yeah. I don't know. I think him and Ozzy are too alpha to get along. See, Giovanni, do you think any of the players that were on the Price is Right event are in a pregame alliance? I just think that event was way too short for anybody to have actually worked something out. I mean, that was they were probably there for 3 hours.
We didn't talk about that either. That event was, I mean, they didn't pick those survivors randomly whatsoever. No. Sari obviously got picked. Rupert goes up there. Boston Rob goes up there. And you have Max Dawson in the crowd. I think we had Brian Corden in the crowd. I don't know. It seemed like there was a lot of.
I think we did mention this. I think this was actually before our last podcast because I remember saying that Dan from Amazon was there.
Oh,
I don't know why he was there, but Dan from Amazon was there. So we did actually get to mention it, but I don't think any of them have a pregame alliance. I just think that was such a thrown together, everybody have fun tonight, and then go away.
Except for the people we want back on the show.
Exactly. Will Sims was there. Jimmy O'Connor, out of all the contestants competing in Survivor Game Changers, who changed the game the most, Haley or Sierra?
Haley.
I think that's him being sarcastic with the Haley or Sierra thing.
It is being sarcastic.
They would be the top two. Haley definitely changed it more than Sierra.
But I keep seeing
Haley's overall.
I keep seeing Haley's name tossed in with Sierra, and it's I get angry. It's I thought Haley did a lot more. I don't think she was a game changer per se. I don't think half these people are game changers, but Sierra did literally nothing. I think Haley had at least a few moments, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, none in game-changing ways. I mean, nobody here. If you're looking at it in terms of
was Brad Culpepper
who was the biggest? No. No, exactly. And I think when they're saying that, they're saying like Haley or Sierra would be the most, like, because it says out of all the contestants competing in Survivor Game Changers, who changed
No,
the game the
I
most?
get it.
Question mark. Haley or Sierra? Question mark.
No, I get it. I get it.
So like, I think that just being like it has to be one of those two. But who do you actually think out of these changers actually changed it the most?
I've said Haley multiple times, but I can't really point to anything specifically. So maybe she. But what I'm saying at least is that there's no way.
Everybody on the cast, do you think Haley changed the game the most?
No, I think you meant
everyone on the cast.
I thought you said those two people out of Haley and Sierra.
No. I'm saying out of their cast, out of everyone in the entire cast, who do you think changed it the most?
Oh, I'd probably say Tony. I think he showed that you could win with aggressive gameplay, and a lot of winners around that time, I don't think weren't as. I mean, people compared him to Russell immediately and said he wasn't going to win. He fooled everybody Edgic-wise. Edgic didn't pick him up at all. You have like Cochran winning in 26 with like strategy. Tyson was very strategic. And then right after that was Natalie Anderson was just like kind of under the radar strategic. Mike beasted it out with challenges. I mean, Tony, I think he won in a really unique way. Sandra obviously won twice with like an under the radar.
Yeah, I would
play.
say Tony yeah. It's got to be one of those two. There's no way it could be anybody else out of this entire cast. I mean, Sandra, nobody's won like her. She won the same way twice, and nobody's won like her since. Like, nobody figured out like how to win like that. She's the only one who's done it. Like, where you literally just do whatever you want to do, and you're still likable enough that when you get to the end, people vote for you to win over whoever you're sitting next to. She did it twice, and she was never in control of the games ever.
Yeah,
and she did it twice.
I think we have more people with similar wins to Sandra though than people with similar wins to Tony. And I know Sandra's won twice, and that is game changing. But if you're going to talk about the ways they win, I think Tony's more unique. You have people like Danny. You have people like Natalie White. You have people like Michelle. You have people like Natalie Anderson. I know I'm listing all women here, but this is how the edit goes. You have people who play that aren't in control, but they stay liked by the jury, which is the goal, a very important goal.
None of them were as lippy as Sandra. None of them gave as little shits as Sandra did.
None of them were as lippy, but I mean, you did have Natalie Anderson like barking at John Rocker and definitely getting into it. Her whole mindset was based on revenge for Jeremy. Certainly some, fire inside Natalie Anderson. And of course, no one's exactly like Sandra, but when you're comparing winners to Sandra, I think like who played like Tony in one? I like there's not many people who played like Tony at all, let alone play like Tony in one. And now we're just talking about
here's like a little. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, these are the two game changers. The only thing I'll say about Tony's game is I would say somebody like Hatch, somebody like Brian Heidick, they won in similar ways to Tony. They won in similar ways to Tony, but they didn't have as many means as Tony did. You know what I'm saying? Like they just didn't have. Like they didn't have the idols and all that stuff, but they still came out and played insanely.
I think you group Hatch and Heidick into somebody more like Tyson, who was like, pretty in control of the game the whole time, in pretty calm, cool, and collective. Tony was mad. He was all over the place. He was jumping at every opportunity.
He was.
And I don't think anyone I think you can compare him like to Rocky in Fiji, but Rocky went out I think before the merge. Like people don't play like Tony.
No, he made merge.
Oh, he did. Okay, people don't play like Tony that often, and when they do play, they don't ever win except for Tony. I think you get a lot of lippy people on Survivor because they're out there without food, living with strangers who they don't like, and you get a lot of people playing under the radar games like Sandra. So I don't know who changed. Like I didn't think anyone like Tony would ever be able to win the game, and he proved me wrong. The under the radar strategy was proven to be a good one, probably in season 2. Honestly, a little bit at least. So
yeah. All right. Okay. I'd give it a little bit to Tony too. So we're good.
The winners, yeah.
Jimmy O'Connor Jimmy O'Connor, in all seriousness, though, I'm happy to see Haley. I don't know why, but I think she has potential. We're both happy to see Haley, too. Is she a game changer? Absolutely not. But I'm happy to see her. I'm happy she's back. She's one of those people who I like how she's a hot younger girl who also plays the game, which you don't get all the time. That's why I kind of wish Julia was back, but I guess she has to go to school and do cool things.
Haley had some amazing quotes, though. She had the Constitution quote. She had her 3 favorite passions. And good confessionals, they can change the game. So I don't think Sierra had any good confessionals.
Yeah. No, I don't think Sierra spoke.
You know what we should do, though?
Giovanni Oriana.
I just thought, because
ahead.
we know these people, we should go back to the prop bet game. I think people had a lot of fun with that when we did it for second chances. We didn't do it for Koron because you don't really know the players. It's still, though, right?
We're not going to do it for millennials.
Oh, that's right. Maybe we should, though, because that was right when watching that premiere of Koron. I was like, oh, there's a hashtag. Like, who did I? We didn't have the prop bet game. There was that that emptiness inside. So maybe we do that. We'll see.
Hey, we'll see. Giovanni Oriana this season should be called Survivor fan fiction, where you think someone wrote it except it exists, and it's sad. It's kind of funny. I mean, it is like a fan fiction cast where there's just so many random people that need to fit certain stereotypes. Giovanni Oriana, do you think Sandra and JT will target the season 33 people because of what happened with Russell? And that's a pretty good point because they did experience the whole nobody was scared of Russell because he played the season before and nobody saw him. Do you think they'll be way more wary of these season 33 people?
I don't know. Again, I think it can help you and it can hurt you. And it depends really on the player. The good news is you have someone like Caleb who is pretty much an unknown. Obviously, people saw his season. He was on TV and he was recent. And then you have people like Sierra and Haley who people don't remember as well. So if you're, let's say, someone who isn't like a complete Survivor nerd, let's say you're Varner and you've watched all the seasons but you don't remember everything. You have Haley on your tribe. You have a season 33 female on your tribe. You have Caleb on your tribe. I don't know. You might group those people together and not single out any particular individual. So that could help these people because remember, these aren't all game changers. If you're on the new Coup tribe and you're the season 33 male, maybe someone doesn't remember Sierra that well. Maybe someone doesn't remember Sarah all that well or Brad Culpepper all that well, and you get grouped in there as people you don't know well and you're not singled out.
Sure. Last comment, Larry Miller, why do you hate Andrea? She's not horrible. She's decent for reasons. I mean, it's not so much that I hate her. I hate her and that she thought she was a bigger player than she was. I'm hoping she pulls something this season, makes me like her more. That's really it. I mean, there's our first podcast back in a month.
Whew.
Wasn't that exciting, huh? Wasn't that exciting?
Well, we don't have that much to talk about, and maybe we'll be able to do
soon.
Best tribals or rank something. But for now, I think we can react to news that comes out. I think the preseason stuff will roll out in a couple weeks. Maybe we'll squeeze one in before then. Not sure. As always, comment. If we get enough comments on the YouTube video, we have, I think, 0 right now. Maybe some have come in. But we could do one where we just do like a Q&A and we can answer questions and talk to fans and it can be about anything. And that might be something that's fun to do. Survivor talk always, but talk about anything could be fun, especially during these really slow parts of the off season, the dog days of the Survivor summer.
Yes, which we should get the official cast announcement probably in 2 weeks. So not that much longer before we get the official cast. They normally do it mid-August.
So I know. The problem is we've now done 2 podcasts about this cast. When it's officially announced, it's not going to change anything. So it might not be worth to do a cast assessment. Obviously,
we haven't even talked about the Millennials cast.
Oh, the Millennials. I keep thinking this season's first. It's crazy.
You're out of your mind. We haven't talked about this cast once.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm excited. We're going to get a whole new batch of people to talk about. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, then we might not have to have another stupid filler podcast like this one.
Hey, this wasn't stupid.
I know. I don't know if it was our best effort, though. Good to be back. Thank you to everyone who listened. I'm going to check one more time to see if we do have any YouTube comments. Let's see. It's loading. Oh, we have 4. They're not all from me. Okay.
Whoa!
So we have Trav Harrod.
Wow.
I want a female winner or Tony. I would love Tony to be a back-to-back winner. That would be not back-to-back, but you know what I mean. That would be so cool if he somehow won again, playing the same way. Incredible. A female winner would be good too. I don't really go by gender, go by the person, who they are inside. But we did just have Michelle, so it's not like we're.
Hey, you don't want to assume their gender,
I think there's now 31 different genders. It came out today in like a New York study or something.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so it is a lot.
And they're not all accounted for in this season of Survivor, clearly, because there's only
no season of Survivor can account for it all. Okay, so we have Sash.
Yeah.
Wow, maybe this is Sash from Nicaragua. Sash, hi guys. A few days ago, I discovered this channel, and since then, I've been watching all your videos. Love the winners rankings. Awesome. My question is, my friends and I that love Survivor only care about Haley and Sierra on this cast just because it's so funny that they are game changers. We have been fighting over these two. Who do you think has a better chance of winning? Sorry for my English. I'm from Brazil. No worries there, Sash.
The English was good.
Yeah, English was great. I think we've already said Haley has a better chance. Phil picked Haley as the person with the best chance just because she is so far under the radar and she is likable. Again, I don't like Haley and Sierra being grouped together because I think is Haley a game changer? No, but Haley's here. Sierra's like just way like there's a big gap between those two in terms of how much they brought to the show in their first season. So I'd say Haley has a better chance also.
Yeah. Last one. Go ahead, Will. Read it. It's a paragraph. You got this, big guy?
Words, man. They can be tough. Nikolai Harun. So I was just thinking about the season 33 returnees. One of them could possibly have made it to the final 2 or 3 and 33 and 1, gone off by season 4 and done the same thing. What a way to save 2 seasons that we are all skeptical about having the first and only back-to-back winner. It would certainly give a great storyline to watch throughout the season if we know the season 33 winner is playing and no one knows that. Pretty sure I'm dreaming here since I doubt the producers would allow the winner to sneak into season 34. That would be crazy if they put the winner on this season and no one knew. It'd be great television, dramatic irony when the audience knows something that the other characters don't. Amazing in movies, amazing in scripted television. We see it sometimes. Well, we see it often with strategy in Survivor, but on a scale like that where you have a winner coming back, I would be totally excited to see that. I don't even care if they win again to be the first back-to-back winner. Just if they were to pull that move, I think it's very, very unlikely though.
Yeah, it's unlikely. We did get some dramatic. It was similar to like the Russell thing where we all knew how much of a villain he was, and on Heroes versus Villains, nobody knew. And I do wonder, because coming into this season, it's not going to be Heroes versus Villains, so these returning players from 33 aren't going to have the villain attached to them. If maybe that does take a little bit of a target off their back, just because it's not going to be like, oh, they're clearly a villain. If somebody ever comes back with a villain target on them and nobody's seen them play, they're going to be the first person voted out just because of how Russell went. But in this situation, it might not hurt them as much because they don't have a negative connotation right on their name.
Completely agree. You're either on the tribe with a bunch of boring returnees or the tribe with a bunch of more boring returnees. So you're not going to stick out that much.
Yeah.
All right. That does it for us, Phil and Will, the Survivor specialists. We will see you. I don't know when we'll see you. I don't think we'll be a whole nother month in between. That was our longest hiatus ever since starting, so I don't think that will happen again. Hopefully ever. Till we die, we'll be talking about Survivor.
Hopefully. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Just don't die for a while.
Okay. I'll try not to.